Daniel Crosslink, welcome back to yet another video. Today we're talking about the iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max LiDAR sensor and how to use it for 3D scanning, and we're starting right now. So this is the iPhone 12 Pro and I got it because I wanted to see how good the LiDAR sensor for 3D scanning works. So this is a close-up of the iPhone 12 Pro's camera array, and here we have the LiDAR sensor, or you could also call this a camera because it is actually a camera, and that is creating a three-dimensional mapping of the environment, what the camera can see. And today we want to use this camera to do 3D scanning of objects. So what I know about this camera is that it is able to scan larger things like a car, or it can be used to map out a room, a three-dimensional space, and also it can be used to scan things that are about of the size of a chair, but nothing much smaller. We'll see later when I try to scan the lion statue that we've been using in the photogrammetry videos before, and the other videos that I've also shown you on this channel using the Connect sensors. But you will see this in a comparison side by side in this video. There's actually just one application in the App Store currently that can do 3D scanning with the LiDAR sensor of the iPhone, and that application is called 3D Scanner app. And I'm linking that application in the description of the video so you can download that application. But as I said, it only works with the LiDAR sensor, and the sensor is available on the iPhone 12 Pro, the 12 Pro Max, and it's also on the iPad 11 Pro and the newest version of the iPad Pro. So let's get started with the first example of 3D scanning with this camera. So the first test I did was scanning a car that was parked in the street, and it's really easy to do this with the application. You just hit the record button and then you start walking around the object that you want to scan. But you can already see that it's struggling a little bit with reflective surfaces, especially with the windshield, and depending on how much sunny it is during the day, it can be more or less difficult. What I also recognize is when the car is a little bit dirty, especially here at the back, it's easier for the application to pick up the object. So it might be actually a good thing to not use a freshly cleaned car. Another fun thing to do in the application is to take the scanned object and then place it in the AR mode next to the thing that you actually scanned. Then you can start walking around those objects. And that's actually a fun thing to show to your friends. So a really, really nice implementation. Example number 2 is scanning a room, and this is also done pretty easily just using the low-res mode, because the low-res mode allows you to scan larger things like rooms. You just do turn around in every direction that you want to cover, and then finally you can use this scan and basically walk around virtually in that room. But this is of course nothing that we want to use for 3D scanning. This is just to show you what is possible using this technology. Now coming to the final example, which is the lion statue that you already know from the photogrammetry video. For this one, I'm using the high resolution mode, and the application has all kinds of settings to optimize the results. So you need to really tweak those settings specifically for the object and the scenario, the place where you are, so you get the best results. So at the first sight this looks pretty nice, but we'll see later the real quality in the Cura software, and we can also place this lion next to the original and have a nice walk around. So now once we've scanned a few things, how do we get those 3D objects out of the phone and into something like a slicer software, or preferably into something like Fusion 360 to modify it before we actually want to print it? So the way how this works, you first open the model that you have scanned, and then you click on the share button, and then you have to select a file format that you want to use. So in my case, I'm using STL. Then I select that I want to put it into my OneDrive, and then it's saved into OneDrive. So now we've exported the file on any kind of drive. You can use OneDrive, you can use Dropbox, whatever you need. So the next step is really to modify this object so it can be 3D printable. So why is it not 3D printable right off the box? Well, if you've seen the object, it has all kinds of debris around it. So probably depending on the size of the model and what you actually scanned, it can be more or less things that you actually don't want in that model file. So we need to cut away everything that we don't want in the model file before we actually want to take it into a slicer software. So what I'm doing is I'm importing this into the 3D Builder software, which is a free software that's available for Windows 10. This is just an example of what you can use. You can also use MeshLab, which is a program that's also free. But I think that 3D Builder is particularly easy to use for this kind of task. So let's load the lion object, which is here. And first thing to do is to select what kind of unit it has been using when it was saved. So in my case, I'm using meters and I'm starting to import it. And now what 3D Builder makes very easy is to actually repair the object, because here you can see this object is actually hollow and it's not closed, and it should be closed for any kind of 3D printing. So you see, this model still has all kind of things that I don't want to print. Most of the time, this will be things in the bottom of the object where it was actually standing. So the easiest thing to get rid of this is to cut it off. And there is a function here that's called split. We have to just select the part that we actually want to keep. In this case, we want to keep the top. And I can now move this splitter area and select what I actually want to keep. And here you can see we still have this little part that I want to get rid of. So I'm just dragging it until it cuts off everything that I don't want. And then I can confirm the split. And finally, probably I want to turn around this object so it stands on the ground. So the surface of this object still looks pretty rough. So you can use the smooth function, but of course this reduces the resolution a little bit. Final step to do here is to export this into something printable like an STL file or a 3MF file. We can save it and say, okay, let's use Lion 3MF and save that. Now we can head over into Cura, for example, to load it onto the build surface. So let's do that. Okay, we can see this is a little bit too large. So let's first go and resize it so it's not that crazy large anymore. And yeah, this could be printable. Now what I promised you is to compare this with the photogrammetry result from my first photogrammetry videos. So here they are next to each other. And you see clearly this is the lion from the LiDAR scan from the iPhone. And this one is coming from Meshroom, just using photos from a camera. And it can be literally any camera that you can find in the list of cameras that are supported by Meshroom, but that's a large number of cameras. So this is astonishing how much different the detail is. And side by side, it's really clear that probably you want to print this one from Meshroom, but the other one is something that I clearly don't see as something that I want to print. So this shows that the technology has advanced from the Galaxy Note 10 to the iPhone, which has now a similar sensor, but much more improved with software and AI. But it's still not there. It's like not near or any close to something that can be done with photogrammetry. So I hope you had fun watching this video. You can download both of these model files from my website. I've linked them both in the description of this video. And I will see you again on this channel for another video next time. Bye bye.